In the backcourt alongside him, Tyron Tank Young. That is a name that a lot of people in the Kansas City area have grown very familiar with. Well, he's got some game too on the hardwood. The 5'9" sophomore is averaging 9.3 assists per game. Joe Roast rounds out that backcourt. 6'5" senior averaging 15.7 boards a game. And down inside, Zach Janillo goes 6'7" as a senior. And Keyshawn Mason, the Mill Valley transfer, is a 6'8" sophomore inside.
Early on with their rival, I think they would absolutely take that in their home tournament, and we'll see how much momentum they have. The home crowd behind them, the home student section in their red tonight for the Kansas City Chiefs coming up on Sunday. So big game for the Saints and also a big game for the Chiefs coming up on Sunday. But looking forward to seeing the Saints here at home again. And Keyshawn Mason now.
Left to right. And it is Olathe numbers, and it wins the tip, and here they come left to right. Jake Reynolds, the point guard. Reynolds thought about a three, now they swing down inside, they bobble on the catch for Charlie Bell, gathers, and his layup is blocked from behind. Back the other way come the Saints. Connor. Handoff to Mason, back to Roast, and they reset the offense. 7:23 to go opening quarter, just underway from St. Thomas Aquinas. Bump, no foul call. Hands off Mason.
Gets racked and trying to take advantage of the defender instead. Speak out over the head.
Couple of them possessions for both teams in the opening quarter. Right. Mason, top of the arc, swings right side Young. Over Connor. He will drop.
And that was there with hands. It's just unfortunate for him as his body got there first. As Connor takes a trip to
And the Aquinas Saints are on the board 2-0. Back the other way comes Reynolds for Olathe. 5-4 in this young season, looking to win their third straight game. Top of the key, Colberg thought about a three, now back to Reynolds. And a good backdoor look to Colberg, but his shot was denied at the rim. Young back the other way for St. Thomas Aquinas. The height for Aquinas has already been a factor in this opening quarter. Left side, Tank Young. Looking to dump it inside, and he's going to reset the offense as he dribbles out near the Shield logo at midcourt from St. Thomas Aquinas High School.
Aquinas just started one if you are St. Thomas Aquinas. Big boy, Keyshawn Mason on board early. He's had double digits in both of his games with St. Thomas Aquinas. 17 games last week, and then 10 once again in the open round. So Joe Rose, their leading scorer on the board, as well as Keyshawn Mason, putting the basket for better start. Here's Coach Jay Cooper.
good size. He's had solid production just a couple of games. Again, a great last game against a very strong team.
Yeah, and he only had 3 points at halftime. That's the thing. You say 17 he had 3 points in the first half. He had with the shot over his right shoulder. Then he had 14 in the second half. He's been a big impact for the Saints so far tonight. He's playing in the middle of that. He's kind of more of that zone.
Here comes the Hawks. Side Charlie Bell. Almost got pulled away. They're calling a foul. The postman was without an elbow. Charlie Bell. Long two from the left side that won't go, and back the other way comes Aquinas in a hurry. Connor got all the way to the rack, dribbled it around the side, got it right back from Tank Young, pulls the corner from Tank Young, wouldn't go around the rim and off.
Not a bad shot. It was all his possession there. It was all his possession there.
Reynolds back quickly the other way. The Hawks got all the way to the rack, high off the backboard, wouldn't go. Back the other way come the Saints, and a 6-0 opening quarter. Young right wing with it. Young right wing with it. Top of the key. They swing left side into the hands of the point guard, Jake Reynolds. Uses
Bell comes in for him.
Hits the second free throw shot. And here comes Andrew Sonner, the 6'5" junior. And he'll send Kohlberg off. And this is a bigger lineup for Olathe East now with Sonner on the floor. And they need a little bit of size. Here comes Reynolds. To the high post they go. Philip Bell back into the hands of Reynolds, top of the key. Trying to set up the offense. Mason. Left elbow taking their time for the Saints in this opening quarter. Back to Reynolds, a 2-3 look defensively for Olathe East. Reynolds will back it up near midcourt as he gets picked up by Jake Reynolds. Connor through the lane, kicks baseline. Mason, a long two will go.
And a nice possession set up there by Matthew Connor. Keyshawn Mason catch and shoot from the short corner. Good. From the short corner. Good.
In this opening quarter, Reynolds top of the key. They swing it left wing. Now right side, first time Andrew Sonner has touched the basketball, and he dumps it back into the hands of Bell. Left side, Sam Carroll off the bench. Uses the screen, gets to the top of the key, gets it right back into the hands of Sonner. And now Olathe East taking their time offensively.
Haven't seen a lot of crazy shots taken yet.
Both these teams bleeding out the clock in this opening quarter already. 3:10 to play first frame from St. Thomas Aquinas. Reynolds, right wing, thought about a three, gets to the foul line, backs it up, now over the left side, and he will take a jumper from the elbow that won't go off the front iron.
And Matthew Connor's on a big point guard, but he goes up, he has 3 rebounds already.
Connor's pass is taken away by Sonner in the post. He was looking to dump it into Mason. Back the other way comes Olathe East, wanting to run. Sonner through the lane, lost the dribble out of bounds off his knee. It comes back over to the Saints.
And to the delight of St. Thomas Aquinas over there on the bench. Everybody rejoices whenever there's a quick turnover. Aquinas gets the ball back with just under 3 minutes, nursing a 7-point lead.
Navy checks in for Aquinas. 2:38 to go in this opening quarter. 8-1 St. Thomas Aquinas over Olathe East in this first quarter. A low scoring first quarter from Aquinas. Tank Young taking over the point guard duties. Connor heads off. Right side Joe Roast. Use the screen from Mason, gets to the paint, kicks to Navy. Navy uses the screen, and he'll back things up near the midcourt logo. Young right side. with a probing dribble, gets left side of the lane, kicks Rose, corner three, wouldn't go. Olathe East, another rebound, and now a full court pass is going to be picked off by Joe Rose, but he traveled with it, landing. As they were looking to get it down to Mason Addison, Rose picked it away with one hand, but too many steps as he came back down to earth.
And the hometown court crowd, I should say, having a difficult time thinking that wasn't just a pure interception by Joe Rose.
Big alley-oop on the inbound, and Charlie Bell is able to lay it up and in to cut that lead to 5.
And that first field goal for Olathe East, the lid is now off the basket.
Roast left wing. Using a screen, missed 3 moments ago. Kicks right side, Tank Young now. Will drive the paint, left side of the lane. Shot blocked out of bounds by Charlie Bell.
Charlie Bell just goes up and is like a middle blocker in volleyball. Just put his big paw up and able to stuff that ball out of bounds, saying no to Tank Young.
If Tank Young lacks one thing, it is size. As he only goes 5'9", Charlie Bell 6'5" inside.
We had time of possession, which we don't in our advanced statistics over here. I would say they've had the ball a good majority of the time, probably 5 minutes in this first quarter.
Armstrong right side will dump it to
Well, and all was set up by an almost turnover, finds its way back into the hands of a safe, and then Tank Young, the only defender near him with the entire Olathe East bench, he canned the three.
Armstrong lost the dribble, and now a foul on Armstrong trying to get it back from Tank Young. Credit Tank Young for the steal, and it'll be St. basketball. 27 seconds to go in the opening quarter, up 11-3.
And both of these teams didn't necessarily have a challenge in the first round. Olathe East beat Summit Christian 70-31. And St. Thomas Aquinas beat Frontier 76-22. It wasn't pretty for either one in the first round, and so both teams low scoring so far here.
Left side Mason. Saints up 8 in this opening quarter. Gets rid of it to Connor. Top of the key as the clock ticks inside 15 seconds in this first quarter. Connor. 8 seconds, still top of the key. Now he'll put the offense into motion. Got to go right wing, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. They get rid of it to Rose. His 3 at the horn wouldn't go. And we're at the end of 1, 11-3 in a slow first quarter. Aquinas has taken an 8-point lead into the quarter break on ESPN Kansas City. Check.
Yeah.
Hey, we have an echo in our headphones. Do you know how to fix that?
Let me try.
Okay. Did you hear us when we were in 4?
I can hear only you, but it's 2 times. It's like you, and then 3 seconds later, it's you.
I hear it. He's working on it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what echo you're talking about. He's trying to fix it. We good?
Yep.
How much time we got?
You can go now if you want.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Back from St. Thomas Aquinas. 11-3 ball game in this second quarter as we just get underway, and a baseline layup missed by Philip Bell, and back the other way comes Olathe East and Kamari Armstrong, still in an 8-point hole. On the baseline over to Jake Reynolds. Reynolds uses a screen, gets to the foul line and gets rid of it. Driving the right side, and the travel against Robert Colbert is going to give it back to Aquinas.
Seems like Olathe East just trying to get another bucket. Only one field goal in that first quarter for them. Trailing by 8 here on the road. Essentially a road game for them here at St. Thomas Aquinas.
Navy. They're trying to double at half court, and nearly intercepting the pass on the near side was Kamari Armstrong. He knocks it out of bounds and it stays with Aquinas. But now a little bit of a trap put on by Olathe East defensively as they inbound to Matthew Connor, and he gets things rolling for the Saints. Dribbles around one, back over to the left wing, gets doubled, passes out of it to Williams Bay, who got tripped and fouled on the left wing.
And it looks, Olathe East going to that 1-3-1 trap look as Philip Bell picks up his second foul. It just seems they're going to try and force the issue here a little bit, try and get St. Thomas get a few quick buckets off of turnovers.
Here comes Matt Connor for Aquinas after the personal foul against Olathe East. Aquinas guarding that 8-point lead, 1 minute gone in this second quarter. Williams Bay left wing with it. Did not play in that first quarter. Right side, Zarion Navy pumps past one man. He steps into a three and knocks it down.
And a beautiful one pump after the catch, and then one dribble to his left. Able to can the three, now up by 11.
Right side, Armstrong lost the pass, but it goes right to his teammate Sam Carroll. Right side, Sonner, and they'll reset. Into the hands of their point guard, Reynolds. Dribbles past one. Layup is not going to go, but a whistle and a foul call on the ground is going to keep it with Olathe East inbound underneath their own basket.
And Matthew Connor picks up the personal foul. Just wasn't able to get out in front of his man, Jake Reynolds there. Sam Carroll there, and he picks up the personal.
14-3, St. Thomas Aquinas. Olathe East basketball, a slow start to this game for the Hawks. Armstrong up front. Aquinas picking him up in the man down low. Reynolds got his shot blocked from behind by Connor. Up with it, running for Aquinas. Left side, Navy. He'll drive on the baseline and try to throw it off a Hawk, but it'll come back off Navy out of bounds. Back over to Olathe East.
And Matthew Connor's done just about everything. He only had 2 free throws in the first quarter. He had 4 rebounds, and now you can add a block to his resume tonight. A beautiful one from behind.
Olathe East, again, they were in the state tournament last year in 6A. Struggling to even score the basketball tonight against Aquinas, sitting on 3 points in the second quarter. Reynolds up top with it. Will drive left side of that lane, hang in the air, and bank it home on the runner.
And a beautiful shot there. A little double clutch, able to get it to go.
Cuts that lead back down to 9 at 14-5. Up top, Williams Bay for Aquinas. Navy right side hit a 3 moments ago. And his pass, dangerous over to Janello on the baseline. Almost got picked off. Janello gathers, swings left side to Connor, and he's going to reset. Left side, Bell will drive left side of the lane. Missed the layup. The putback will go, however, for Zach Janello.
Janello just padding the stats. A couple of offensive rebounds there. Able to capitalize off the Philip Bell miss, and once again the lead is 11 for Aquinas.
Too much size right there for Aquinas down low. Connor, right side, Armstrong now. And a whistle and a timeout for Olathe East. 5:01 to go in this second quarter. And a 16-5 lead for the Aquinas Saints on ESPN Kansas City. Thank you for joining us on this Friday night. I am Tim Sperl, he is John Polisic. And when we were talking about it, Aquinas, they wanted to slow the game down.
Yeah.
Play it down low into the paint, having their way in this opening half.
Yeah, so far so good for the game plan, and also not so good for Olathe East. Olathe East, they've had a couple blocks at the rim, but St. Thomas Aquinas able to take advantage of the offensive rebounds. We saw a couple on the last possession by Zach Janello as he was able to tip it in, but the defensive boards have to be a big point of emphasis for Olathe East going forward. Giving up too many offensive rebounds, which has led to this 11-point hole they're going to have to try and dig out of.
You're watching on 810varsity.com, listening on ESPN Kansas City. Happy to have you along. 16-5 though, Aquinas in front in this opening half from the Saints Classic. Both these teams looking for a momentum victory tonight and get their record of 6-4. Both these teams identical 5-4 records. One team is going to be 2 games over 500, the other back at 500. Up top, Reynolds for Olathe East, left side Armstrong, and they swing it back to the right wing into the hands of Addison. His pass is tipped and taken away. Williams Bay out ahead of the pack for Aquinas, and now he'll swing it back to the left side of the paint, dish it inside, muscling up a layup, wouldn't go, was Jost, and now Armstrong boards for Olathe East. He wants to run left side. Kick it, right wing Reynolds. Up top, Charlie Bell at 3, won't go. Long rebound taken by Armstrong of Olathe East. His long 2 won't go, but a foul against Aquinas is going to put him on the line.
And it was a kind of a pull-up jump shot there out of transition, which was kind of weird. They're going to get Zarian Navy on the foul, but Olathe East just trying to get something to go down. The three-pointer not good by Charlie Bell, and so now Kamari Armstrong at the line.
Armstrong short on the first free throw, and it's a surprise in this opening half. I mean, granted, Aquinas, their identity is defense and slowing it down offensively, but Olathe East, 70 points last night in their victory against Summit Christian.
Well, maybe they should have saved some of them up for tonight. I mean, they've got 5 points with 4 minutes left to play here in the first half. Now they make it 6, but still, they haven't been able to get the lid off yet.
Armstrong 1 of 2 on that trip to the line, and back the other way comes Matthew Connor for Aquinas. Calling out the directions from midcourt. Picks up his dribble, gets rid of it to Joe Roast. Roast looking to dump it inside Mason through a double team. His layup is good. 2 more for Keyshawn Mason.
And now he's got 6. Mason keeping his hands high. It was a good pass by Joe Roast. Roast having to learn that new identity with the new big man on the floor.
Reynolds a spin and a runner wouldn't go. Rebound tipped out of bounds. Stays with Olathe East, and Jake Reynolds having a tough time in this opening half. Only 2 points for the point guard, averaging nearly 13 a game. They'll inbound it to Charlie Bell at the foul line. Over to Reynolds, 3:40 to go second quarter. Reynolds, good baseline dish, reverse layup for Robert Colbert. 2 more.
And a tough finish there. Used the rim as a little bit of defense, and the right-hand reverse is good to cut to a 10-point deficit.
Williams Bay, that pass too high for Keyshawn Mason. It comes out of bounds of the Mill Valley transfer and back the other way to Olathe East. Down 10, 3:20 to go till halftime. And now whistles on the far baseline. A little bit of confusion.
Yeah. Somebody thought something happened. Instead, they'll throw it back in. But Keyshawn Mason may be a tough guy to miss at 6'8". To toss that ball well over his head.
Only a sophomore is this guy. Good backdoor look again, and another reverse lay-in. This time it was Mason Addison, and that lead is 8. Back the other way quickly comes Matt Connor. Into the post, Mason almost lost it out of bounds, gathers, and tries to attack right side of the lane. His sky shot is going to fall. 8 points for Keyshawn Mason, having himself a quarter and another timeout. This time Aquinas takes a timeout. Jake Cooper-Smith wants it, but his team up 10 in this opening quarter.
Yeah, and Coach Cooper-Smith, I mean, what a gift. You have Keyshawn Mason just kind of fall into your hands, a sophomore, going to be around for the Saints a couple more years, but a solid player. Goes to the kind of the sky hook. It wasn't a full hook shot, but it was a beautiful shot across the lane. And for Olathe East maybe just taking advantage a little bit of St. Thomas Aquinas' aggressive defensive nature. A couple of backdoor passes have resulted in a couple of easy layups, as now they're in double digits on the scoreboard.
And Jake Cooper-Smith was hot taking that timeout, kind of clapping his hands, really demonstrative, coming out onto the floor. And I think his frustration is probably stemming from what you just mentioned, those backdoor cuts. They did it on back-to-back possessions. And probably a little bit more frustration with the defense as his team's up 10. And Keyshawn Mason is sitting on 8 points in this opening half. Back the other way comes Jake Reynolds. Left side over to Charlie Bell. They swing it into the hands of Addison. Addison gets to the foul line, picks up his dribble, backs it off to Armstrong, who will pull a jumper from the right elbow and knock it down.
And a beautiful pull up there. A couple dribbles to his right, pulled up just inside the elbow, able to can it. Now it's an 8-point lead for Aquinas.
Olathe trying to chip away at that lead. Aquinas back with it on the basketball, Williams Bay. His pass tipped away from Mason, and back the other way comes Olathe East. With numbers they want to run. Reynolds splitting a double, got his shot blocked. Offensive rebound, the putback will go, and a trip to the line coming for Robert Kohlberg.
And it all started on the other end, the defensive end. He got the hands on the ball, able to dribble down, even though the shot was blocked initially. Kohlberg there for the offensive rebound, and got fouled for the and one.
2:12 to go till halftime, and that was a big bucket as that has cut the lead to 6, 20-14, and Kohlberg can make it a 5-point lead for Aquinas if he can hit the free throw, as he will come up short on the free throw shot, and it'll stay a 6-point lead at 20-14. Back the other way, Matthew Connor for Aquinas. Good crossover, got into the lane, and his shot thrown away, but another foul call. Charlie Bell, boy, that looked clean.
It did.
But they're going to send Connor to the line again.
I think it's another case of his body got there before the hand. I think the hand was clean, the down low was not, and I think that's where the refs tend to look. If you hear the sound of the wrist, clearly it's a foul, but then if you see the bump of the body, that also helps as Connor capitalizes on the first one.
3 of 3 start from the line for the point guard, Matthew Connor. He'll have another one coming. Second free throw off the heel of the iron, no good. 1 of 2 trip, and back running with it is Kohlberg, and chasing him the whole way was Phillip Bell, and he ended up bumping the body, and a foul as they crossed over midcourt.
And maybe not the best foul. I mean, Phillip Bell, he's the guy that they go to for some energy. But a foul well beyond the three-point line in transition to a guy that maybe shouldn't be dribbling the ball. Maybe a tough one there for him as he picks up a second.
That was the 6th foul. It puts Olathe East in the bonus, and Robert Kohlberg immediately hits that first free throw. He's got another one coming.
I have Phillip Bell at 3 fouls, but the scorebook has him at 2, so we'll see which one's correct here in a bit.
Kohlberg's second free throw wouldn't go. 1 for 2 on the 1-and-1 try. And back the other way, Connor for St. Thomas Aquinas. 21-15 lead for the Saints in this first half. Just a minute 45 to go till halftime. Tank Young with a hesitation dribble. His pass for Mason, too tall, and another turnover for Aquinas. Wanting to push is Olathe East, and Armstrong got it stripped and taken away by Connor. Saints back the other way, 4-on-2. Young thought about a 3, gets into the lane, sidesteps a man. The runner wouldn't go, got his own rebound. Trying to go back up, Tank Young muscles in 2 more.
And that's how Tank Young gets his offense going. The penetration even into his own man, able to get his offensive rebound and go back up for 2. He now has 5.
Reynolds right wing, Olathe East trails by 8. They go back door for Sonner. Good catch on the baseline. Now he gets doubled, still goes up with it, and he comes up strong. Back the other way come the Saints with that 8-point lead. Mason, left baseline, attacking the rim. Layup wouldn't go, but he got slapped across the chest, and they'll send him to the line with 55 seconds to go in this first half.
And what a weapon to have if you're St. Thomas Aquinas now, where you, anytime you want to settle in and you want to get maybe a quick bucket, draw a foul, you have Keyshawn Mason down there in the post, just beyond the left block for us, goes around and able to get to the free throw line. He capitalizes on his first free throw of the night.
First free throw good for Keyshawn Mason. 6'8" sophomore, again, transferred from Mill Valley High School just down the road. And again, already this guy is grabbing some next level attention, and it'll be interesting to watch his career continue at Aquinas as he comes up short on the second free throw, but definitely some high side for this young man at 6'8". Right wing they go over to Jake Reynolds, the point guard. He'll back things up near midcourt. 43 seconds. We'll see how long Olathe East wants to bleed this clock out now, down 9. They go into the corner. A 3-ball on the catch and shoot wouldn't go. Offensive rebound, Armstrong. He'll pull up a 10-foot jumper, wouldn't go. Another offensive board for Sonner. Back out to Armstrong, they'll reset. Back to Sonner on the baseline. His pass got tipped right over to Kohlberg, who missed the layup. And the rebound finally taken down by Roast of Aquinas. Over to Young. He'll drive that right baseline, spin, pick up his dribble. Over to Mason, drives right side of the lane. He's able to bank it home with 12 seconds to go in this first half. Olathe East has got to go quickly. They don't stop the clock. Jake Reynolds inside 5 seconds. Takes a bump, top of the key. He'll pull a long 2. It comes up well short, and we're at halftime. 26-15. Aquinas, an 11-point lead as they head for the locker room of the semifinal round of the Saints Classic. The Saints in the driver's seat over the Hawks of Olathe East. Stay with us on 810varsity.com and ESPN Kansas City.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on and on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Have plumbing needs, whether a residential or commercial customer? Kansas City has turned to Graybill Plumbing since 1986. Graybill Plumbing strives to be the premier plumbing and mechanical contractor in the Kansas City area while offering unique solutions to general contractors, architects, designers, and homeowners. Call Graybill Plumbing at 913-432-9660. That's 913-432-9660. Or visit online at graybillpipeworks.com. Graybill Plumbing, a proud supporter of St. Thomas Aquinas Athletics. Go Saints!
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on and on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Have plumbing needs, whether a residential or commercial customer? Kansas City has turned to Graybill Plumbing since 1986. Graybill Plumbing strives to be the premier plumbing and mechanical contractor in the Kansas City area while offering unique solutions to general contractors, architects, designers, and homeowners. Call Graybill Plumbing at 913-432-9660. That's 913-432-9660. Or visit online at graybillpipeworks.com. Graybill Plumbing, a proud supporter of St. Thomas Aquinas Athletics. Go Saints!
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on and on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Have plumbing needs, whether a residential or commercial customer? Kansas City has turned to Gray Bill Plumbing since 1986. Gray Bill Plumbing strives to be the premier plumbing and mechanical contractor in the Kansas City area while offering unique solutions to general contractors, architects, designers, and homeowners. Call Gray Bill Plumbing at 913-432-9660. That's 913-432-9660. Or visit online at graybillpipeworks.com. Gray Bill Plumbing, a proud supporter of St. Thomas Aquinas Athletics. Go Saints!
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on and on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Have plumbing needs, whether a residential or commercial customer? Kansas City has turned to Gray Bill Plumbing since 1986. Gray Bill Plumbing strives to be the premier plumbing and mechanical contractor in the Kansas City area while offering unique solutions to general contractors, architects, designers, and homeowners. Call Gray Bill Plumbing at 913-432-9660. That's 913-432-9660. Or visit online at graybillpipeworks.com. Gray Bill Plumbing, a proud supporter of St. Thomas Aquinas Athletics. Go!
I am Tim Spurl. He is John Polisic, Colin McCage, running our camera on 810varsity.com, and we have all watched St. Thomas Aquinas jump ahead by 11 at the halftime break. And John, once again, Olathe East, they need to find themselves a spark plug in this third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say early and often. I'm seeing them warm up right now. Early and often, they need to hit their three. I mean, we talked about it coming in. They attempt a lot. It seems like these guys have a really good stroke. They just haven't taken many quite yet against this St. Thomas Aquinas team. So Coach Jim Super was like, you know what, let's just go out and try and bomb it because, we're down 11. If we, hit 4 or 5 of them here in this quarter, we're either ahead or really close to being ahead at the end of this third quarter.
Both of these teams looking to keep some momentum going. Olathe East, they've won 2 in a row, including their game last night in which they hounded Frontier Summit Christian 70-31. Aquinas They're looking to win their second in a row. Last night's victory for them snapped a 3-game losing streak. These two teams desperately need some momentum as we approach the midway point of this 2018-2019 regular season. And this is a key second half for both of these clubs. Olathe East will start with the basketball. They're going to go right to left in this third quarter. Aquinas will go left to right. Up with it, Mason Addison. They'll swing it right side into the point guard's hands. That's Jake Reynolds, and now up top Armstrong. Back to Addison on the left wing. Bell, top of the key. Right side Armstrong as they move it around the perimeter. Reynolds swings back to Addison, trying to work it into the paint. Instead, they go outside. Kohlberg, good behind the back dribble, got to the right side of the lane, and then his shot was pinned behind the backboard. Up running with it, Tank Young, around one defender, hangs in the air and banks it home on the other end. Tank Young, a pretty take.
Tank Young looks like he got the toss off the left end there on the football field. He sprints from coast to coast to get the easy bucket.
Tank Young recently pulled in an Iowa State football offer. Those are going to continue to roll in for the young man. Bell inside with a right-handed hook shot. He'll let that one fall. He's got 4 points.
And Bell's got to get going as well. He averages just over 12 points a game. He only has 4 so far. Nice right-hand hook shot there.
28-17, St. Thomas Aquinas, early moments of this third quarter. In the Saints Classic, Roast swings it right side. Young looking for the entry pass. Instead, he'll try to split a defender, get to the paint. His pass tipped at a bounce. He was trying to swing it to Connor, who was wide open on the left wing, but Reynolds able to knock it away.
And that's what Tank Young can do. He can get into the defense and then try and kick it out to a shooter. You don't see this Aquinas team shoot many threes, but whenever they do, they try and capitalize.
Young out of the inbounds pass. Kicks it to Roast, right wing. Roast gets doubled, works his way out of it. They swing it into the paint to Mason, who's doubled, dumps it to Janillo, opposite side of the paint, who's able to bank it in.
And that's what Mason can give you. Anytime a double team comes, he's got a good enough vision and finds Janillo on the backside for 2.
Aquinas by 13 in this third quarter. Bell, top of the key. Right side, Reynolds uses the screen. Left side to Addison. Back to Bell, top of the key. He'll try that right side of the lane, and he got bumped and fouled on his way to the rack. Let's see if they call that in the act. But again, Olathe East, now 6 minutes to go, third quarter, still reluctant to pull the trigger on the 3.
Yeah, they haven't pulled the trigger yet. I have a feeling it's coming as Matthew Connor picks up his second. But it seems to me Olathe East is going to set up this out-of-bounds play, and this might be the time we see that elusive 3 go in. We saw after the foul, Jake Reynolds pulled it for fun, and he made the 3, so maybe that'll give the confidence there to the Hawks.
Charlie Bell, he's a 40% three-point shooter, but even he hasn't been looking for that three-point shot in this ball game. They're going to inbound it to him, left side of the lane, back over to the right. Good spin back to the left, and he's able to roll it in. Pretty move by Bell on the low block.
And took advantage of Mason's aggressiveness down there trying to get a block. Instead goes to the 360.
Mason traveled with it as he caught it at the top of the key and wanted to work right into the chest of Bell, but a travel gives it right back to Olathe East.
I think he wanted some revenge there. Went straight at him instead. Got his feet going and gets the turnover. Olathe East with a little bit of momentum, only down 11.
And Olathe East can knock that lead back down to single digits here with 5:38 to go in this third quarter. Aquinas in a man look defensively. Left side, Connor. Up top, Jake Reynolds now. Got bumped and a foul call on Tank Young, a reach-in foul call. Sam Carroll starts this third quarter for Olathe East alongside Bell, Kohlberg, and Mason Addison. Kamari Armstrong on the bench. Early moments of this third quarter. They inbound it to Reynolds near the Shield logo at St. Thomas Aquinas High School. Uses the screen, gets to the right wing. Reynolds looking for the entry pass. Instead, we'll back it off to Addison, and now left side, Carroll. Carroll, left side dribble, falling away, 5-footer, wouldn't go on the baseline. Young, another rebound, and back up with it. Resets the offense, gets it back in the quarter, drives that left baseline, ticks it right side, Janillo. His 3 will go.
And it was all set up once again. Tank Young running the floor, trying to force the issue upon Olathe East, playing that defense. Weren't able to stop ball, and instead it ends up in the hands of Janillo for the open 3.
Reynolds got into the paint, threw one off the backboard too high, and back the other way come the Saints. Another empty possession for Olathe East. Roast left wing. kicks into the corner, and now they swing it to Mason on the low block. He got bumped and fouled going up, and they're going to send him to the line. 4:33 to go third quarter.
And Sam Carroll grabbed his forearm. Just seems to me like every time Olathe East has something good go for them, back the other way, St. Thomas Aquinas just squashing any sort of momentum that they have. Now Keyshawn Mason back at the line.
Mason's first free throw is too strong off the tail end of the iron. Jay Cooper Smith having some words with his point guard and his shooting guards, Matt Connor and Tank Young over there. Mason with another free throw coming. Kamari Armstrong back into the game for Olathe East as Sam Carroll heads off. Second free throw for Mason. Around the rim and off. An empty trip for Mason there from the line. And back comes Olathe East, down 14, trying to hang tough with the Saints in the Saints Classic. Bell up front with it. Right side Armstrong now. Picks up a screen from Bell. Into the hands of Sonner, and now left side Addison uses the screen. Back over to Bell, top of the key. And Olathe East continues to just work it around the perimeter.
I mean, you got to wonder, it looks like they're getting some open looks. They're not pulling the trigger from the three-point line yet.
Sonner getting hounded, and now a push from Tank Young in the back of Armstrong as he tried to come out and meet Sonner and get the basketball from him as he was double-teamed, and it'll bail out Olathe East for the moment. Tank Young picking up his second foul right there. They inbound to Sonner, left wing. Thought about a three, gets rid of it to Bell, and now they swing it to Addison, right wing. Addison with a jab step, he'll fire a three that comes up well short. And back the other way come the Saints. Connor kicks, Rose, corner three, that won't go. High rebound, batted around, Rose takes it in, his runner will go.
Tough finish there.
And a timeout.
Thought he was going right-hand floater, instead goes left-hand floater, able to get it to go, and now it's a 16-point lead for the Saints.
3:41 to go in this third quarter. We'll keep you right here. Olathe East, man, it seems like they haven't even woken up for this game yet.
Yeah.
And it is a shock. They've won a couple of games rolling into this one, had a tough overtime victory over Gardner Edgerton a week ago, and then they took down Summit Christian 70-31 last night in the first round of the Saints Classic. But boy, they're sitting on 19 points here as we get late in the third quarter. When are you going to flip the switch?
Well, it's got to be soon. I mean, especially against a home court in St. Thomas Aquinas. They're on the other side. They're enjoying the home court here at the Saints Classic. But, I mean, you got to get it going eventually. And I think once the Hawks see their first three go down, whenever that is, if it's too late, clearly, you have no shot. But if it's soon, before the end of the third quarter here, and try and get some momentum going, hit a couple threes, you're right back into it.
It's been all Aquinas in this one. Again, up 35-19. But again, this is the name of the game for St. Thomas Aquinas. Smart ball control offense, and they love to play defense here at Aquinas.
And they got 6'7", 6'8", and 6'5" on the front line. That's not too shabby either.
Armstrong right baseline is going to kick it to Sonner, and now they swing it left side into the hands of Sam Carroll. Bell up front with it. He's been quiet tonight, only 4 points for Charlie Bell. Carroll, he'll take a straightaway three, and
there it is.
Finally, Olathe East gets a three-pointer to fall as Sam Carroll dials it up from straight away.
You had to think Jim Super was like, all right, guys, let's get one to go, and sure enough, able to get that.
Connor around a screen, right wing for Aquinas, up 13 now, 35-22. And here is a turnover as Janilla was trying to dump it into Mason, and Mason fell down.
They got numbers if they hurry.
Left side Addison, Olathe East. Armstrong on the baseline. He will attack that baseline, hang in the air, get bumped and fouled, and a trip to the line coming for Kamari Armstrong.
And it looks like there's going to be a couple substitutions for St. Thomas Aquinas. I think that was Tank Young's third foul. So I think we'll see him go to the bench for at least a little while. It'll be a good opportunity for Olathe East to capitalize without Tank Young on the floor.
First free throw for Armstrong goes, and Olathe East trying to continue to chip away. 35-23, another one coming for Armstrong as Tank Young exits this game, as does Zach Janillo. Phillip Bell has checked in. Matt Connor back off the bench and back into the game. Second free throw good for Armstrong. It's an 11-point lead, 35-24. Olathe East, a mini 5-0 run here in this third quarter after the timeout.
It looks like they're going to a trap on defense as well, Tim.
Connor moves it to the left wing, dribbles away from a trap, kicks over to Bell, gets it right back. Connor through the lane, kicks to Rose, thought about a three. Now he attacks the paint and he'll retreat back to the left wing. Swings it to Connor on the right side, and now Aquinas trying to kill some clock here in this third quarter. 2:15 to go in this third quarter. Up top, Connor. Dumps it into the corner to Zerion Navy. His pass is taken away by Addison. Olathe East up and running with it. Mason Addison swings left side. Carroll a deep three. Bang! It'll go! And Olathe East has trimmed that lead down to 8 all of a sudden.
And just like that, Tim, back-to-back threes for Sam Carroll, getting this team going. And then on the defensive end, it all started with a turnover. The trap caused a steal and back the other way for three. And another steal.
Turnover. Addison taken off. Mason Addison will lay it up and in. And the lead is 6 from Aquinas.
I mean, I blinked and it went from a 16-point game to a 6-point game, Tim. A couple of threes and then a couple of twos later, and it'll cause a Jay Cooper-Smith timeout.
10-0 run, and that noise you hear is from the Olathe East student section in front of us. A 30-second timeout for Aquinas. 1:28 to go third quarter, and we've got a new ball game, 35-29, and you were talking about it, the three ball, they needed it, and they're getting it.
And they got it. 2 of them from Sam Carroll, and just like that, that just shows you, and I'm not saying that I'm promoting going out and shooting the three all the time, but that's how the great equalizer of basketball is. You're not big. Maybe you're not as big as St. Thomas Aquinas if you're Olathe East, but instead you can shoot the ball a little bit more. They cut that 16-point lead to a 6-point lead, and all of a sudden, a couple more threes, you know, it's all square, but just down 6 compared to down 16, I think they'd take it.
10-0 run for Olathe East. 35-29, they have worked their way back into this game. They still trail by 6. 2 turnovers on the last 2 possessions. Tank Young back into the game for Aquinas, playing with 3 fouls.
Looks like they're going back to their standard man, our Olathe East.
Young right side with it. Dribbles away from a double team. Kicks baseline. Connor a 3 off the side of the backboard. Olathe East boards, and here they come the other way. Armstrong across the timeline. Using a screen, gets to the right wing. Kamari Armstrong shouting out instructions. Over to Addison, left side, Carroll now. He's hit 2 threes in this third quarter. They work right side Addison. Thought about a 3, and now he passes up on it as they swing it into the hands of Carroll. Trying to jump it into Charlie Bell. Instead, Sonner, he'll pull the trigger. He'll hit a 3. It's a 3-point lead. 13-0 run for Olathe East.
The big man, Andrew Sonner, stepping into a top-of-the-key 3. 3 threes in the past 2.5 minutes for Olathe East. 35-32, St. Thomas Aquinas.
Inside 30 seconds to go third quarter. The Hawks charging back in this one. Up top with it, Matt Connor, the point guard for St. Thomas Aquinas. Dribbles around 1, and now he'll retreat back to midcourt. Aquinas wants to hold for the final shot of this third quarter. Up top, Roast with 6 seconds and a bump and a foul call. Up top, Mason Addison was in the chest of Joe Roast.
Maybe a silly foul, I don't know. It's his first foul, so clearly he was just trying to play defense, but, you know, it's a little momentum stopper with 6 seconds to go. Now Aquinas has a chance to set up a play.
5.9 to go in this third quarter. They inbound to Matt Connor. Connor with a head of steam gets to the right side of the lane, kicks left side. Jumper will go at the horn for Zach Janillo. And Aquinas leads by 5 as we head to the quarter break, but Olathe East right back in at 37-32. You're watching on 810varsity.com and listening on ESPN Kansas City. Stay with us.
10. Here we go.
37-32 as we enter quarter number 4. St. Thomas Aquinas at 5-point lead. They were up 16 in that third quarter. Olathe East to use a 13-0 run to get back into the game. As we start quarter number 4, it'll be Tank Young on the basketball for Aquinas. Right side, Matt Connor, as they swing it back into the hands of Young on left wing. Double teams. Passes away from it into the hands of Mason, who was scoreless in that third quarter. Left side, Connor gets doubled, dribbles away from it, but a bump and a foul call on Charlie Bell. And it'll keep it with the Saints opening moments of this fourth quarter.
And Charlie Bell going to pick up his third foul. Bell, the second leading scorer so far throughout the year for Olathe East. Doesn't look like Coach Jim Super is going to take him out either.
His team has stormed back into this game. Out of the inbounds, Aquinas into the hands of Tank Young they go, as Young will test that defense. He'll miss a layup in close. Back the other way, Olathe East running with it. Right side, Addison. Pump fake, Mason off his feet. Mason still blocked the shot, but it comes back to Olathe East. Carroll over to Armstrong, a three. That'll go as well. Everything going for Olathe East. Lead is 2 from Aquinas.
A tale of two halves for shooting the ball for Olathe East. That time, Kamari Armstrong stepping into one.
Left side, Connor, 37-35 in this fourth quarter. Mason will drive that baseline, take a bump, force it up against 2 defenders, and able to bank it in.
Yeah, he's going to have to stay around in this fourth quarter if the Saints are going to want to, or if they're going to win this one. They're now at 4. He's got 13 total, but that, like you mentioned, he didn't have a point in the third quarter. So,
and now a steal by Matt Connor. In the open floor for Aquinas, all the way to the rack. Got fouled and put it in! Matt Connor, a chance for a three-point play. And all of a sudden, Aquinas is back up 6.
And Matthew Connor, like I mentioned in the first half, he did just about everything for the Saints. And he's kind of that glue guy, the guy that can get something, make a key play, and then that time got the steal, goes back the other way, gets the and one, the left-hand layup to go, and draws the foul.
No panic from the Saints. Connor's free throw was long, but he got a tough take from Mason, and then a steal and a bucket in transition by Connor. And a little bit of a cushion again, up 6, 41-35, 6.5 to play fourth quarter. Another steal. Tank Young taking off for St. Thomas Aquinas, getting chased, can't bank it in. There was contact, no foul.
Good
back
defense.
The other way, Olathe East.
Good defense by Kamari Armstrong.
Addison, good dish underneath to Sonner, reverse layup, he blew it underneath. And now a whistle and a foul call as Sonner, in frustration, bumped Joe Roast.
Maybe Sonner a little quick there. He got both the guys in the air, could have just had a right-hand layup. Instead, decided to go to the reverse, and he missed it. And then a frustration foul. You tend to see those a lot off of missed layups. He gets his second foul.
But yeah, point blank, and I'm with you. Maybe he should not have gone to the reverse.
Yeah.
Because there was nobody around him inside.
Yeah, got both the guys up in the air and then decided to go for the harder shot.
Tank Young directs the offense up front for Aquinas, up 6 now as we creep inside the 6-minute mark, fourth quarter. Mason from the right elbow. Still has his dribble if he wants to use it. Now he backs it into the hands of Roast. TJ Williams-Bay off the bench as they swing it over to Janello left wing. Aquinas killing some clock on this possession.
I don't know if this is the zero dribble challenge, Tim, but they haven't dribbled the ball the entire possession.
Not yet. And now Mason puts it on the floor, right side of the lane. He muscles another one up and in.
The 6'8" frame able to seal off the body of Andrew Sonner. Goes up for the right-hand layup. He's now got 15.
And the lead is 8, 43-35. Right side, Carroll. They work it over to Armstrong left wing. Olathe East needing a bucket on this possession as they've drifted back down 8 in this game after cutting the lead to 2. Carroll drive left side. He'll bank it up and in with a right hand.
And that's the first time we've seen Sam Carroll go inside the three-point line for some points tonight. He's now got 8.
43-37. Aquinas back up with it. 4:45 to go in this ball game. Young up front for Aquinas. Mason, 15 in the game's got it right side, matching his season average through 3 games now. Mason on the baseline trying to work it into the paint. Instead, they go Up top to Tank Young. And again, Aquinas killing some clock. Young got bumped and fouled as he began to attack. And one more foul should put Aquinas on the line.
It's just interesting to watch, Tim. In this fourth quarter, St. Thomas Aquinas has not dribbled the ball more than like 10 times. Obviously to get across the timeline, and then from there, they're just passing the ball. I don't know if that was a point of emphasis for head coach Jay Cooper-Smith, but certainly seems like it. Not a lot of dribbling out of the Saints.
Into the base, Joe Roast underneath, forces one up, wouldn't go, comes up short as he goes to the ground real hard. Up running with it is Jake Reynolds. Kicks right side, Carroll. He'll take a three. That will also go for Olathe East. They cannot miss from beyond the arc.
And that's Carroll's third three in the second half. He's now got 11 total.
43-40. Lead back to 3 for Aquinas. Williams Bay. Left side, Tank Young. Again, Aquinas led by 16 in that third quarter. And now a whistle and a foul call out on the perimeter is going to put Tank Young to the line, shooting a 1-and-1 with 3:49 to go in the game.
Now one on Jake Reynolds. Now the Saints go to the line for 1-and-1 the remainder of the game.
3-point Aquinas lead. Still a lot of time to go. First free throw for Young is good. And again, a name that's obviously very familiar with football fans across the area. Already an Iowa State offer as a sophomore, and he is going to reel him in as he begins his junior and senior season in the coming years. He misses the second free throw, however, and it's a 4-point lead at 44-40. The most prolific running back in Aquinas history, and he's only a sophomore.
It's not too bad.
Right side, Carroll tries a three. That wouldn't go. High off the back iron. Offensive rebound, Sonner. Left side, Reynolds. Carroll was feeling it. I'm sure he's still feeling it. Reynolds will attack, split a double, bank it up and in. Tough take by the point guard, Jake Reynolds.
And Jake Reynolds doing his thing. Right-hander going to the left side. It's a tough finish. Able to get it up and over the trees. Now a 2-point lead for Aquinas.
44-42, 3:08 to go fourth quarter. Olathe East has twice trimmed the lead back to 2 in this fourth quarter. Again, trailed by as many as 16 in the third quarter. But they have come alive in this second half. Williams Bay right side for Aquinas. Up top, Tank Young. It is the slow pace starting to come back and bite the Saints. Williams Bay right wing. They swing into the hands of Tank Young. Double team, dribbles away from it. They reset to Mason, top of the key. 2:37 to go fourth quarter.
I think they're content with taking one shot, right? I mean, if you're Coach Jay Cooper-Smith, one shot wins it.
Williams Bay almost traveled, lost it, and now a travel will be called. A late whistle, but Williams Bay forced it into 3 orange jerseys and ran into a whole lot of trouble, and now Olathe East can tie or take the lead.
And then Sam Carroll was a little angry at it because he had a wide open layup off the turnover. Instead, a late whistle blows the play dead for the walk. Like you said, Tim, a chance for the Hawks to take the lead here.
Up top, Addison. Right side, Bell with it. Hands off to Carroll, and Carroll traveled, and we're going the other way. And Super's not happy about it. He wants a 30-second timeout. And now it changes to a full timeout. Doesn't matter. We'll keep it right here. But that seems like a critical travel right there against Carroll. They gave it to him on the dribble handoff. And again, just too excited with the feet because no one was around him.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Okay, he's made 3 threes in the second half, so clearly they're gonna come out on you. So he's trying to dribble drive, get to the hoop, and maybe tie up the ball game. But instead, his feet get a little ahead of his body and the dribble, and so a walk there. So now with 2:09 left, I mean, essentially a brand new ball game. Aquinas is up by 2. They have the ball. I don't think that you go into desperation mode quite yet if you're Olathe East, considering that the Saints are in the penalty. But I won't be surprised to see that little trap that they did earlier on in the third quarter for the momentum shift. If they can, get a nice and easy steal, because it seems like Aquinas is going to try and take the air out of the ball.
Now, I will tell you right now, I've done a lot of Aquinas games, and even though there's 2:09 left on that clock, they are going to treat this as the end of the ball game in their final possession. They are going to try to kill as much clock on this next possession as possible. So, yeah, expect the trap from Olathe East. And they may very well take this clock inside of a minute, because that's exactly what Aquinas has wanted to do all second half, especially in this fourth quarter. And I almost guarantee that's what they're going to do out of this timeout. They're ready to kill some clock. 2:09 to go, only up a pair, 44-42. Left side, Young, bobbled the basketball, loose on the floor, a scrum for it. There is a jump ball, possession arrow, Hawks.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Tank Young, can you imagine? It's like a football scrum. Tank Young at the bottom of the pile with Andrew Sonner. Sonner going 6'5" as a junior. Tank Young only at 5'9", allegedly. And, man, those two guys going at it for the jump ball, and the ball ends up with Olathe East.
Boy, so I'm sure Aquinas wanted to kill some clock, but again, they tried to work it to Young immediately, and he just lost that off his knee, and it was immediately a scrum for the loose ball, and the jump ball again favored the Hawks, and now they've got it. 1:59 to go, still down a pair. They can tie or take the lead right here.
And so now the possession arrow will switch over to the Saints, so a critical thing to watch as we go into the final 2 minutes here.
Here comes Jake Reynolds for Olathe East. 4 points in the game. Top of the key. Works to Bell. Bell will drive right side of the lane. Step back. Now cross back over to the right. Missed the layup. Fight for the rebound. Taken in by Janillo of St. Thomas Aquinas. 1:38 to go in the game. And now the Saints will try to kill some clock. Roast over to Young. High catch. Doubled. Passes out of it to Connor. Back to Roast right wing. He gets doubled. Works his way out of it. Young with it now. Over to Connor left wing. And again, we're going to see a lot of this passing around midcourt as we work inside. 1:15 to go, fourth quarter. Olathe East not ready to foul just yet. Still are going to play for that steal. Here's a pass, dangerous over to Connor, almost taken away. Able to get it, however, and now Roast. Janillo up top. Tank Young, and now they swing it left side back into the hands of Connor, and now the foul comes with 1:01 to go in the ball game. Matt Connor to the line, and I don't think this is the guy you want to foul.
No, it's not. I think Matt Connor's been clutch tonight for them, but it seemed like everybody wanted them to foul Janello. They weren't able to get to him fast enough.
Connor knocks down the first free throw calmly. He's 4 of 5 from the line tonight. 45-42, this is a big free throw. Still a lot of time, a minute and a second to go in the game. Second free throw for the 5'10 senior point guard is good, hit them both. And now Olathe East has to have a bucket here. Reynolds up front. High post Sonner, dangerous pass. Sonner, wild pass over to Reynolds, right side, driving, layup is good. It was a dangerous pass, and now a timeout. But boy, Sonner, it's hard to describe, but he just kind of lobbed it up there onto the baseline.
Yeah, like a shot put.
And essentially, he was just like run under it, and Reynolds did just that.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing a tight man, which St. Thomas Aquinas has done all night. So Sonner was like, I'm going to put it where my guy can get it. And sure enough, he was able to make the catch, keep his defender on his backside hip, and then get to the cup for two.
I mean, that was the equivalent of a run to the back corner. Ball's going to be there.
Yeah.
Just turn and look.
Yeah, drop it in the bucket.
Yeah. 46-44, though. And again, expect Olathe East, because we still got time here. We're just under about 50 seconds to go in the game. But again, expect Olathe East to trap for a little bit, but they're not going to mess around too long.
Well, and I imagine, so St. Thomas Aquinas as a team shoots 67%. But it seemed like on the last possession, as soon as Zach Janillo got the ball, I don't know personally what his free throw percentage is, as soon as he touched the ball, people were like, get it out of his hands. It seemed like Olathe East wanted to foul him. Instead, it ended up with Matthew Connor, who made both. So with a 2-point ball game, you just got to pick out who you want to foul and how fast you want to do it.
But again, Matt Connor does not seem like the guy you want to be fouling, as he is now 5 of 6 from the free throw line tonight. But outside of Matt Connor, Tank Young has 1 free throw attempt on the night. Keyshawn Mason has knocked down a free throw. And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Matt Connor has been the guy.
And Jim Super came all the way off the bench to the middle of the St. Thomas Aquinas logo to finish up saying what he was saying in the huddle for Olathe East.
46 seconds, full court pressure for Olathe East out of the timeout. Aquinas trying to get it in, taking their time in a timeout before they could inbound it. Joe Roast was the trigger man, and he couldn't find anybody. They take a timeout, and now Aquinas is out of timeouts with 46 seconds to play. It's a full timeout. We'll keep you right here. And, John, we're going to see the same thing out of the timeout. Yeah. But, boy, that would be a huge blow if you can't get it in here and give it to Olathe East.
Yeah, so I think they switched it up on the scoreboard. It does say that St. Thomas Aquinas has one left after this one, but the way that Olathe East was playing that was they didn't guard the inbounder for that one. So they were trying to charge the person that was working on it and away from the ball, and so they were able to cause the timeout there.
Yeah, they announced that they were out of timeouts, but like you said, they reset that clock and put one timeout. So I think the score clock was confused as well. So we're going to assume for the time being that they do have one more timeout. But again, out of this timeout, assuming you're able to inbound it cleanly, again, the last time they had to take a timeout, Matt Connor is probably the guy you do not want to foul.
Absolutely, yeah. Matt Connor, he's kind of got a little side spin on his free throw, but whenever you watch it, it's nice and clean, and it seems like he's the guy that you do not want to foul, like you said, Tim.
So Aquinas out of a timeout, inbounds to Matt Connor, and Connor is going to be fouled immediately.
And sure enough, it ends up with Matthew Connor.
Matt Connor on the year, by the way, got these numbers just then. A 75% free throw shooter on the year. But if you look outside of him on the floor right now, Joe Roast, a 79% free throw shooter. Tank Young, he is the guy that you like to foul, a 42% free throw shooter. First shot for Connor is no good on the 1-and-1. Olathe East, they're going to have a shot, 40 seconds. Carroll right side. Back to Reynolds, only down a pair. So you can play for the 2 or the 3 here. Reynolds taking his time left wing. Picks up his dribble, getting hounded, gets rid of it to Carroll. He lost the ball, but it goes right to Bell. Now over to Armstrong, 25 seconds to go in the game. Olathe East needing a bucket. They work it into the post to Bell, and Bell is fouled immediately. And a trip to the line coming for Charlie Bell.
I mean,
another foul to give still for the Saints.
Okay. Yeah,
so never mind.
Yeah, they got to give a couple. It almost looked like Joe Roast was intentionally fouling him. I know we don't like saying that.
To give.
Yeah.
Sitting on 5 team fouls are the Saints. Dangerous pass is taken away. Connor back to Roast. Full court pass over to Mason, and Mason is fouled from behind, and he will go to the line with 13 seconds to play.
It was a tough pass that Jake Reynolds was going to have to try and squeeze in there to Charlie Bell. He went for it, and it did not work out for him as they tossed the turnover. But Keyshawn Mason goes back to the line. He's 1 for 4 on the night, so this might be the guy you want to foul.
Small sample size, but a 60% free throw shooter. This is only his 3rd game in an Aquinas uniform. First free throw for Keyshawn Mason is good.
And that's what you like to see out of a guy that could be getting a lot of big school offers here in the next couple of years. Clutch free throws to try and put a game away.
And this is the big one. If he hits it, it's a 2-possession game with 13 seconds to play. He's got 16 in the game. Second free throw for the 6'8 sophomore is no good. Off the heel of the iron. And now fouled immediately is Carroll. Again, Aquinas has got one more foul to give, and they give it right there. So the next one will put Olathe East on the foul line. But here we go. 11.3, and do you consider fouling again?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think they will. I think they'll let him take about 5 seconds off. And then as long as you don't do it in the act of shooting, you're good.
And it looked like Jay Cooper Smith, the head coach for Aquinas, was saying no foul. Here comes Armstrong. Uses the screen. Kicks left side. Sonner a 3 for the tie. Oh, he banked it in! Oh, he banked it home! And a timeout taken by Aquinas with 2.4 to go.
I'm not sure he called bank, Tim.
Maybe the worst looking 3 we've seen all season. And Sonner is tied us at 47.
Oh, geez Louise. I cannot believe that went in. The way that ball looked from our angle whenever he shot that was, that's going to miss everything. And sure enough, any shot you shoot that's soft enough that hits the top of that big square at the back of the backboard, it's going to go in. And sure enough, Andrew Sonner showed us that. The guy who averages 4.3 points per game made his second 3 of the night.
47-47 Olathe East trailed by 16 in the third quarter, and we're tied with 2.8 to go.
So, Tim, you asked me, do you foul? That's why I say you foul. I mean, because at that point, it puts the pressure on. They would have to make a free throw and then get an offensive rebound. Instead, they gave a chance even to Andrew Sonner, who's listed as a center or a forward at 6'5", able to bank it home. And so now it's a tough situation with 2.8.
Aquinas can win it right here. Joe Roast to inbound 90 feet away underneath the Olathe East basket. They inbound to Janillo. He'll heave it from midcourt. No good. And we're headed for overtime from St. Thomas Aquinas. Bonus basketball on 810varsity.com and ESPN Kansas City. Stay with us.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on and on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.
Ten. Here we go.
Overtime from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in the Saints Classic semifinal rounds. Olathe East storm back in that second half, down 16. Andrew Sonner has put us in overtime. He hit a three. He banked it in with 2.5 seconds to go to tie us at 47. And now Olathe East, they'll go right to left in the overtime. Aquinas will go left to right. The referee says, let's go. He throws it up, and Olathe East will control the opening tip in this overtime session. Here comes the point guard, Jake Reynolds, 6 points in regulation. He'll start it up for the Hawks. Left side, Addison. Using the screen, picks up his dribble, and now works it over to Reynolds, top of the key. Reynolds will probe right side of the lane, and Janillo threw it out of bounds.
Wow.
All the way into the Hawk bench went that basketball as Zach Janillo said no, sir.
You might be having a couple of men's volleyball offers come in.
Stays with Olathe East after the rejection. Left side, Addison. Right side, they work it to Armstrong, picks up his dribble in a double team over to Sonner. And now they work it into the corner, back to the point guard, Reynolds. Thought about a three. Now he'll spin back to the left wing, pick up a screen with a little crossover dribble, get to the top of the key. Right side on a baseline drive, Addison dumps it into the post. Sonner muscles up two more.
They have the lead, Tim. I can't remember the last time they had the lead. I don't think ever, since the beginning of the ball game.
All night. Aquinas has led the entire way, and here in overtime, Olathe East, their first lead of the night. Mason going to work on the left block, got doubled. Pass out of it, Janillo a three. That goes! And Aquinas grabs the lead right back in 50-49.
And Zach Janillo now with a dozen tonight, a couple threes to his name.
Free throw line jumper for Reynolds wouldn't go. Roast another board for Aquinas. 50-49, 2.5 to play in the overtime session. Connor all the way to the rack, missed the layup. Olathe East with numbers they want to run. A 5-on-3 break. Reynolds all the way to the cup. Layup wouldn't go, no whistle. And back the other way come the Saints. Tank Young will slow things up now for St. Thomas Aquinas.
And you got to remember, this is a tournament too. So these teams played yesterday, now they're playing today, and now they have extra basketball here in overtime.
Roast with it left side. Olathe East, if you're wondering, played an overtime game last Friday night against Gardner Edgerton. They won it 52-50. Up top, Janillo hit a three moments ago. Works to Roast on the right side. We're inside 2 minutes to go in overtime. Tank Young dribbles away from it. Heavy legs in this overtime period. Young almost lost it out of bounds, gathers it in. 1:40 to go in overtime. 50-49, Aquinas a 1-point leader.
Going back to the take the air out of the ball, Tim.
And this bit them in the fourth quarter. It opened the door for Olathe East.
They got a 1-point lead, and they're in the double bonus. So next foul for Olathe East, they got 2 foul shots.
Down to 1:20 to go in overtime. Roast with it right side, and at some point you're going to have to foul if you're the Hawks.
Fowler back to the trap.
Nearly a steal. Mason almost lost it. Addison pulled it away. A batted ball, and now in transition, Armstrong has put Olathe East up a point.
Armstrong with 4 points in overtime, yelling towards his student section, trying to hold on for a victory.
55 to go in overtime. Young right side. He'll drive right side of the lane. Sidestep one. Kick. They swing Janillo. Thought about a 3. He'll drive the paint. His layup will go. +1. Janillo a chance for the 3-point play.
Zach Janillo, the guy that averages 6 points per game, has 14, 5 here in overtime, and he has a chance to put his team up 2.
Zach Janillo carrying the load for Aquinas in the overtime period. Can put St. Thomas Aquinas up 2 now with 45 seconds to play. What a game from the Saints Classic.
And just remember, Tim, I said this during the break, it was 11-3 at the end of the first quarter.
Janillo connects on the free throw. 53-51. Noise from the St. Thomas Aquinas student section, and a timeout for Jim Super of Olathe East. 39 to play. And here we go again. A full timeout. We'll keep you right here. Why would you want to be anywhere else? But, boy, this was similar to what we saw at the end of regulation now. Obviously, more time. But actually, Olathe East had a shot with about 44 seconds to go, remember, off a steal. They turned it over, got another chance with 13 seconds to tie, and they were able to. But now I don't think you mess around and kill any clock. I think you attack.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, especially if you're Keyshawn Mason, you try and get it into him. Keyshawn Mason, he missed essentially what would have been the deciding free throw at the end of regulation, but he's your guy. Zach Janillo has met his game average for the season here in overtime. He has 6 points here in overtime. He averages 6 per game during the season. So, you got a couple of guys that are feeling it. I mean, you might as well try and attack because you're in the double bonus. If you get fouled, you go to the free throw line and try and put it away.
Well, for Olathe East, and again, they've got the basketball, and they've had a litany of guys get going in the second half. Kamari Armstrong's got 10. Sam Carroll has got 11 in the game. Andrew Sonner has got 8 points off the bench. And again, Olathe East are the ones that are trying to tie this game down 53-51, 39 seconds out of the timeout. Here comes Armstrong. With a crossover, works it into the hands of Addison. Addison looking for the entry pass. In trouble on the left wing. Dumps it over to Armstrong. Armstrong at the free throw line, got bumped and fouled. And here comes a 1-and-1 opportunity for Olathe East.
And that's going to be it for Tank Young. Tank Young's going to foul out of the game with 8 points.
And he heads over to the bench immediately, doesn't wait. Zarion Navy off the bench checks in for him, and Tank Young's night is done with 8 points.
One of the main Saints tends to carry a lot of the point guard role. He's now going to have to watch the final 25 seconds possible from the bench.
This is a giant free throw for Armstrong. The 1-and-1 first shot is good.
Seemed pretty cool with that one.
He was 3 of 4 from the line in the first half. And now here comes his second free throw to tie the game with 25 to play. Armstrong has tied the game at 53 as he banks it home.
So now an opportunity to tie, go to a double overtime, or win the game. Imagine they go one shot here, Tim.
Inside 15 to go. Matt Connor, the point guard on the basketball. 7 points in the game for Connor. Right side with it, Janillo. Left side roast, 7 seconds. 5 seconds, Connor right side. 3 seconds, Connor will pull a 3. Got it! Aquinas is going to win it! 56-53. Matt Connor buries the 3, and Aquinas has taken down the Hawks in overtime.
The student section mauls Connor. Connor, who had done everything all night for that St. Thomas Aquinas squad, hits the game-winning three at the buzzer in overtime, and that's one he will not quickly forget as, he moves on from high school athletics later on in life. That's going to be one he looks back on.
St. Thomas Aquinas, they take down Olathe East 56-53 in maybe the best game of the Saints Classic to date. An overtime victory for the St. Thomas Aquinas Saints. And what a performance all around tonight. Olathe East down 16 in the second half, came charging back. Andrew Sonner had a three to force overtime. And then it was the point guard, Matt Connor, who hit a three from straight away to win it in overtime at the horn. 56-53. The Saints are now 6-4 in Olathe East. They drop back to 500 at 5-5. But again, we were talking about it earlier, John. This is a game that is going to be key for momentum going forward. And it feels like St. Thomas Aquinas, they grabbed themselves something special tonight.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I mean, Keyshawn Mason was the guy.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news
for the Saints in the overtime period, had 6 points in the overtime period for them, and then obviously Matt Connor getting the job done at the buzzer. This is a great game, and one that I'll remember. It was a great call by you as well, Tim. It's fun to see the home court react as well. The student sections come out of the student section, a lot of them wearing Patrick Mahomes jerseys, as it was Chiefs night here at St. Thomas Aquinas. And they called win. So Matt Connor, the hero here for St. Thomas Aquinas.
Matt Connor finishes with 10 points and the biggest three of the night as he wins it for Aquinas in overtime on a buzzer beater. Keyshawn Mason had 16. Zach Janillo had 13, including 6 in the overtime period. Tank Young finished with 8. On the other side for Olathe East, 12 points for Kamari Armstrong, 9 points, 3 threes in the game for Sam Carroll, all in that second half, by the way. 8 for Andrew Sonner, who forced overtime. Jake Renner, Robert Colbert, Charlie Bell, all finished with 6 apiece for Olathe East. The Hawks went down to the wire with the Saints, came all the way back, but it was Matt Connor for St. Thomas Aquinas that had the deciding three. A 56-53 winner for St. Thomas Aquinas tonight from the Saints Classic. For John Polisic, for Colin McCage, who is running our camera, I'm Tim Spurl. Thanking you for joining us on this Friday night. We'll be back next Friday for the ESPN Kansas City Game of the Week. Oh yeah, go Chiefs.
High school sports fans, Trent Green here, and when I want the latest scores and news, there's only one place I go, 810varsity.com. Live scores, features, brackets, and even watch games live on the laptop, phone, or mobile device. Watch the Lee Summit, Blue Springs, and Park Hill schools, Blue Valleys, Olathes, Rockhurst, Miege, Lansing. The list goes on and on into Missouri and Kansas. And playoff broadcasts too, plus top 25, awards, and more. Check it out now, Kansas City's home for high school sports, 810varsity.com.